Hello. Okay, so let's have a look at how we can get bigger parts of a string than just one character. And you can accomplish that with slices, by slicing a string. So slicing a string is exactly what the name suggests. You cut the string at some part, then cut it again at some other part, and you have a part of the string. As you will see in a minute, you can do even more sophisticated slicing. So slice it into more parts and then just choose some specific parts of it to be left for you. Okay, so we have an example here, which is of course discussed here in the text, but we will take a look at this example in Visual Studio Code. As always, you can execute this. You can try out this example either in inline mode or in script. I will do it using a script because it's easier for me not to write it and come up with these examples again and again, but you can easily, if you just want to try one, you can easily do it in inline mode as well. So basically we have a quote from Steve Jobs here, which, as you can see, is quite a long string. I don't know how many characters there are inside, but I guess there might be around 100 here. So what we want to do right now is not access a specific letter from a string, but access just some bigger part of this string. So as you can see, we define various different variables here, which are part of this quote, and we will walk through them right now and check out what each of these examples generate. So let's first have a look at quote A. So as you can see, quote A it will be a quote, and here we use a specific structure. First number tells us where do we want to make the first cut, and the second number tells us where do we want to make the second cut, or rather the last cut. Important thing to note is that first number specifies an index of the object which will be included in our result. The second index specifies the character which will not be the first character, which will not be included in our result. So you can think about it this way, that we always specify the cut is at some place, and we specify what is on the right of the cut, right? So if we make the first cut at some place, then we start here, we have a 0th element, 1, 2, 3, so on, so on, so on. We finish, and then we make a second cut, and 22 is here. So first cut, 0, 1, 2, 3, blah, 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 and then here 22 is here. So we are left with what is inside. So from 0 to 21. Okay, let's run this example to see that this is actually what happens. Python free slicing, and we can see that we get the result, your time is limited, and let's see, here we have 5 characters, here we have another 5 characters, so we have 10 in total right now. Here another 5 characters, so already 15. Here from M to D another 5 characters, so they are here, and comma 21st. So this is the 21st character. and we start at 0th. 21st has index 20, so most likely we also have a space. We have a space here. Maybe it will be actually convenient for us to also print how many letters has each quote. So quote A, let's print length of quote A. Let's run the script again. Yeah, so we can see that we have 22 letters here. Maybe for educational purposes, let's print also the first letter of our quote A, and let's also print the last letter of our quote. We can check what is the last letter without knowing what is the length of this quote by using -1 index, as you already know. So let's print it now. Okay, so we can see that we have a string like this. It has 22 characters. The first character is Y and the last character is space. So as you can see, our cut has the Python has finished the cut, like it started here and finished here. We can check that if we increase by 1 the second argument for our slices, then we will also get S here, and the results change. We can also check what happens if we change the first index, like when we want to change where we start the slicing. Let's save the file, and now we should see that we start at letter R. Yes, and this is true. As we can see, our slice starts from a letter R and ends at S, because we still have 23 here. Okay, so this is the general structure. We start with first index, which will be included in our output. We finish at the at index which the first, which should not be included in our result, and then we can check out any few different options which make our life easier, often in Python. So for instance, if you don't know what is the length of the string and you want to just start writing the string, you want to get a slice which starts at some point and just goes until the end, then you can just leave this space empty, and then Python will assume that it has to generate a slice from this part until the end. So let's see what is quote B. Maybe let's remove this part so that we are not bothered by this this output. Okay, so let's run this script right now. So as you can see, we start at letter which was 23rd. S was 23rd, we already know it, and Python then just goes until the end of the slice. Similar thing we can do. This is quote C. We can tell Python start from the beginning and finish at a specific place. So quote C just starts at the beginning and then goes until the character which has a index number 4. Number 4 is space, because 0, 1, 2, 3 we start from 0. So index 4 is this space. So this is useful if we have this is useful if we don't for instance don't know the length of the string. Now let's have a look at quote D. So in quote D we see additional feature. As I said, we can slice string into at some specific parts and then just take these characters which are at these places. So here we tell Python, okay, start from index 1, finish before index 100, but just take every 10th character. So basically we should take first an element, a character which has index 1, so this should be O. Then we should move 10 characters further, so we have 5 characters here and 5 characters here, so next character should be S. And then again 10 characters from here, so 1 2 3 4 5 and 1 2 3 4 5, so another 10th element from S is space, and so on and so on. So we can see that this happens. I will write code D here and save the file and run the example. As you can see, I got O first, S then space, and then some other letters. 10 is a big difference, so maybe it's hard to follow. Let's see what happens if we take every second character. So we should take O but skip U, take R but skip space, take T but skip I, and so on and so on. Let's save the file, run the example, and you can see that I get exactly this result. This might be obvious, but as you can see, if I choose the step to be 1, then I just get all of the letters. So this is basically the same as doing something like this. So basically, by default, the step is equal to 1. Okay, so let's get this example back to the first version. Finally, you can merge these different approaches. So for instance, here we tell Python, okay, start from the beginning, no number here, finish at the end, no number here, and take a step equal to 10. So if we try quote E, you will see that we get every 10th letter, but it's one letter before from this our first example with 10 step. So instead of O, we get one letter before. Why? Because we start from the beginning now, not from 1. We don't get S, but we get I, and so on and so on. If we want to get the same result, similar result as before, we can start from index 1, and then, as you will see, we get very similar result as here. We just go until the end of the string, not finish earlier. And finally, the last thing we can do is we can use negative step, and then Python just goes, just starts from the last possible index. Here it's the end of the string. So if we check out the quote F, you can see that Python goes from the end. So this S comes from jobs here, then we move 5 characters to the left, so we get E, and so on and so on. So this is what you can do with slicing. It's pretty easy. If you understood how indices work, then slicing shouldn't be difficult for you. So this summarizes slicing. Thank you for your attention, and see you in the next video.